So the idea of the water super body is because, again, going back 20 years ago, you have so many water-related agencies that they have been fragmentary or even conflicting, and they are siloed, so to speak. And when you talk about water resources, maybe 30 years ago, we've been talking about the Dublin Principles integrated water resource management. Because in water, just like energy, you have a lot of sources and you have a lot of uses. But in addition to beneficial use, you have this an adverse use. I mean, not really a use, but you have to control flood waters. Now, when you look at the water resource system, it can be good for water supply, hydropower, for irrigation. On the other hand, maybe the same infrastructure that you will have a reliable water supply when and where needed could be the same to do flood control and so on. Now, in the Philippines, the way we do governance, it's what we call sectoral.
Yeah.
DPWH does flood control, NIA does irrigation, DNR does conservation watershed. But since 20, 30 years ago, we have been talking about integrated water, and that's how you manage your water resource from the point of view of the conservation to control of waters. Now, we don't have a water body which is able to coordinate, orchestrate, direct all these water resource development from different sectors for different purposes. It's by sector, as I mentioned. So the idea of the Department of Water is really to create an apex body, to be able to orchestrate all these different water resources plans, from conservation or water supply to control of waters. And that apex body is the Department of Water, just like you have a Department of Energy to orchestrate as an apex body developments in energy generation and all the way to the users. But in our case, in water, you have to manage the water resources for different purposes. And one of them is flood control, which is to control water, which is even difficult. And the difficulty with water resources is that the hydrology or the hydraulics of flow is so uncertain. You know, it's all this uncertainty as far as the climate, the weather, and then you have your uncertainty in the sediment transport and so on. But nobody's looking at it from that holistic point of view. And that's the way we should do it. That's the reason why that idea of having an apex body to manage our country's water resources for those different purposes. And otherwise, all of them are disintegrated with those different sectoral water-related agencies. Nobody talks to each other. Nobody really collaborate, because like a flood control reservoir can also be a conservation for like Pantabanga, I mean, like Angat, hydropower generation and so on. But in fact, in the case of DPWA, I've seen a lot of their work. They don't really look at flood control from that point of view of looking at the headwaters, the watershed. Because upstream, you can already do some flood control before it gets to your urban areas. So from the point of view of managing, planning, managing, or design of our water resource systems, there's no agency that does looking at it from a holistic point